War, a word that evokes images of battlefields, tanks, and explosions. Throughout history, humanity has been plagued by the horrors of war. From ancient times to the modern era, conflicts have left an indelible mark on our world, shaping civilizations and altering the course of history. Wars are often portrayed as clashes between nations, but their true cost extends far beyond the battlefield. The impact of war reverberates through society, leaving deep scars on individuals, families, and communities long after the guns have fallen silent. While the physical destruction wrought by war is readily apparent, it is the unseen wounds, the emotional and psychological scars, that often run the deepest. These hidden consequences can linger for generations, shaping the lives of those who have experienced war firsthand and casting a long shadow over future generations. In the aftermath of war, societies are left grappling with not only the physical rebuilding, but also the task of healing the invisible wounds that run deep within the hearts and minds of their people. Soldiers, often hailed as heroes, bear the brunt of war's brutality. They witness firsthand the horrors of combat, experiencing things that no human being should ever have to see. The psychological toll exacted upon these brave men and women is immeasurable. Post-traumatic stress disorder, a debilitating condition characterized by flashbacks, nightmares, and severe anxiety, is a common affliction among combat veterans. The constant threat of death, the loss of comrades, and the moral dilemmas faced in the heat of battle can leave lasting psychological scars. Many soldiers also struggle with depression, survivor's guilt, and difficulty readjusting to civilian life. The transition from the highly structured and adrenaline-fueled world of combat to the relative normalcy of everyday life can be incredibly challenging. The invisible wounds of war can haunt soldiers long after their service has ended, impacting their relationships, careers, and overall well-being. It is crucial that we recognize and address the mental health needs of our veterans, providing them with the support and resources they need to heal and rebuild their lives. War's destructive reach extends far beyond the battlefield, tearing apart the very fabric of families and communities. The prolonged absence of loved ones serving in the military can strain relationships, leaving families feeling incomplete and emotionally drained. The return of soldiers from combat zones can also be a time of great difficulty. The physical and emotional wounds they carry can create tension and misunderstandings within families, making it challenging to reconnect and rebuild bonds. Communities that have experienced war firsthand often suffer from a breakdown in social cohesion. The loss of life, displacement, and trauma can erode trust and create divisions within society. The scars of war can linger for generations, shaping the social and political landscape of a community. Furthermore, war can lead to the displacement of entire populations, forcing families to flee their homes in search of safety. The experience of being uprooted and losing one's sense of belonging can be deeply traumatic, particularly for children who thrive on stability and routine. The economic consequences of war are far-reaching and devastating. War diverts resources away from essential services such as healthcare, education, and infrastructure, hindering a nation's development and prosperity. The cost of waging war is astronomical. Governments often incur massive debts to finance military operations, leading to austerity measures and cuts to social programs. This can have a ripple effect throughout the economy, leading to job losses, inflation, and a decline in living standards. War also disrupts trade and commerce, as businesses are forced to close and supply chains are disrupted. The destruction of infrastructure, such as roads, bridges, and power grids, further hampers economic activity. The economic impact of war can be felt for generations, as countries struggle to rebuild their economies and regain their footing in the global market. The human cost of this economic devastation is immense, leading to poverty, inequality, and social unrest. Section 5. Scars on the Earth. The environmental cost of armed conflict. War not only inflicts immeasurable suffering on humanity, but also wreaks havoc on the environment. The environmental consequences of war are often overlooked amidst the human tragedy, but they are no less real or devastating. Modern warfare employs increasingly destructive weapons, from bombs and missiles to chemical and biological agents. These weapons contaminate the environment with toxic substances, poisoning water sources and rendering land unusable for agriculture. The use of defoliants, such as Agent Orange, during the Vietnam War has had long-lasting and devastating effects on ecosystems and human health. These chemicals can persist in the environment for decades, contaminating food chains and causing a range of health problems, including cancer and birth defects. Military operations, such as troop movements and the construction of bases, also contribute to deforestation, habitat loss, and the displacement of wildlife. The environmental degradation caused by war can have far-reaching consequences, affecting biodiversity, climate change, and the overall health of the planet. Section 6. Children of War, the enduring legacy of violence on youth. Among the most tragic victims of war are children, whose innocence is shattered by violence and displacement. War robs children of their childhoods, depriving them of education, healthcare, and safety. Many children are forced to witness acts of brutality, leaving them with emotional scars. The trauma of war can manifest in nightmares, aggression, and withdrawal. War disrupts education, limiting opportunities for future generations. Section 7. Echoes of trauma, intergenerational transmission of war's wounds. The trauma of war does not end with the generation that experienced it firsthand. The psychological and emotional scars of war can be passed down from one generation to the next, impacting the lives of children and grandchildren who never lived through the conflict themselves. This intergenerational transmission of trauma can occur through a variety of mechanisms, including genetic predisposition, parenting styles, and family narratives. Children raised by parents who have experienced war may be exposed to their parents' trauma through witnessing their struggles with PTSD, depression, or anxiety. They may also inherit their parents' heightened stress responses, making them more susceptible to developing mental health issues themselves. Furthermore, families often cope with trauma by avoiding discussing painful experiences. This silence can create a sense of secrecy and shame around the war, making it difficult for children to understand and process their own emotions and experiences. Section 8. Seeds of division, social and political fragmentation. War profoundly impacts societies, sowing seeds of division and mistrust. Societies are often polarized along ethnic, religious, or ideological lines. War exacerbates tensions as groups compete for resources and power. Trauma fuels cycles of violence, hindering peace and reconciliation. War erodes trust in institutions and leadership. Corrupt governments lose legitimacy, leading to instability and unrest. Section 9. A world rebuilt, resilience, and the long road to recovery. Despite the profound and enduring consequences of war, it is important to remember that humanity is resilient. Throughout history, communities and nations have demonstrated remarkable capacity for rebuilding and healing in the aftermath of conflict. The process of recovery is long and arduous, requiring a multifaceted approach that addresses the physical, economic, social, and psychological scars of war. It demands a commitment to justice, reconciliation, and the creation of a more peaceful and equitable world. International cooperation and support are crucial in helping war-torn societies rebuild. Providing humanitarian assistance, investing in infrastructure, and supporting peace-building initiatives are essential steps in fostering stability and creating conditions for lasting peace. Ultimately, the responsibility for preventing future wars lies with all of us. By understanding the true cost of conflict, promoting diplomacy and dialogue, and working to address the root causes of war, we can strive to create a world where the horrors of war are relegated to the past. Section 10. C. Conclusion. Remembering the true cost of war. War is a scourge on humanity, leaving a trail of devastation in its wake. Its impact extends far beyond the battlefield, shaping the lives of individuals, families, and communities for generations to come. As we strive for a more peaceful and just world, it is essential that we remember the true cost of war. The physical, emotional, economic, and environmental consequences of conflict are a stark reminder of the urgent need to pursue diplomacy, dialogue, and peaceful resolution to disputes. By acknowledging the enduring legacy of war and working together to address its root causes, we can create a world where the horrors of conflict are replaced by the hope of a shared future built on peace, understanding, and cooperation. The path to peace may be long and challenging, but it is a journey we must undertake together for the sake of present and future generations.